this afternoon is hate preacher Zakir Naik, who's been invited to the biggest football event this year in Qatar. Of course, several backlash that is also coming in after this hate preacher who's been invited at this football event. The question we are asking is, why is a hate preacher invited to the biggest football event in Qatar? We'll go across to our guests also who will get us more on this big story that we're tracking. But remember, hate preacher Zakir Naik has links to the Dhaka terror attack, but he's still been invited to the World Cup event. He's charged for money laundering, but still given a platform for talks in the FIFA. He's linked to the ISIS terror accused, but still present in Qatar during the World Cup. He defended suicide bombings, but will still hold talks during the FIFA World Cup. So the question we are asking is, why invite a hate preacher to the world's biggest football event? We have guests also joining us. Joining us this hour is Ratan, Sharda, political analyst and author. Sir, thank you for taking out time and speaking to us. To begin with, why do you think is a hate preacher invited to the biggest football event in Qatar?
See, we must remember Qatar is one of the most Islamized, in the sense radical Islamist supporter country. It has always supported radical Islam. We know its support for Pakistan. We know its support for terrorists. And the way it had earlier also spewed venom using its media arm Al Jazeera against Nupur Sharma for saying something which Zakir Naik very grandly says every time, that is view. Secondly, it wants to use this particular platform to preach Islam to the people, which is very clearly the goal. Now, what I don't understand is, is it an international tournament? Or is it an Islamic football tournament? If it were Islamic tourist tournament, I could understand them calling any preacher. But there to call a preacher who considers every other religion as haram, every other religion as below Islam, every other religion that has no reason to exist, as he said in many places, that we will not allow any mosque or any church in a place which is Islamic because they are not the right religion. With this kind of supremacist views, this person is a bigot. He has raised terrorists with his speeches. When I was in Qatar, I would see Bangladeshi, Pakistani, Indian Muslims sitting in a labor class, sitting around in the cafe, listening to his speeches. So he has that kind of figure there. And should a country like Qatar just use its influence on an international tournament just because it is sitting on a big chunk of natural gas, is something that the world has to answer. We will look at the way as an Indians that these people have no right to preach us what we know, and we have respected every religion. But Zakir Naik, first in India, now in Malaysia, has used these platforms to spew venom. And Qatar has shown its true colors. Will international community rise? Will it rise against the human rights violation of poor labor from any other countries to create the infrastructure for the football? Will we pay such a heavy price for enjoying a few hours of football for entertainment against the wishes of the people who have been, nearly hundreds have been killed, who have been not given a due place in their work? On the second side, using this to preach their supremacist Islamist ideology the way Zakir Naik spreads it, surely they have no way. And people who teach us what is human rights, who are preaching through their own TV and radios what tolerance should be, who have put India in a bad light, using one incident, which is what exactly what she spoke, Nupur Sharma spoke, what Zakir Naik speaks. So this international community has to rise and tell them it's an international football tournament. It is not a Tablighi Jamaat lecture speech, and they should avoid calling him there.
Yes, well, absolutely.